Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So I was doing cerebellum from physiology and I realized its anatomy is equally important to understand the physiology, and also cerebellum on its own in anatomy is a very important topic. So I'm going to make a very short video talking about the anatomy, gross anatomy. But apart from that, even the phylogenetical and the functional divisions. So I think we should get started with that. So in when we talk about the anatomical decisions, it's pretty easy. In this picture you can see three fissures: the primary fissure, the horizontal fissure, and the posterolateral fissure. So the primary fissure, it divides the cerebellum into an anterior lobe and a posterior lobe. So this whole purple region becomes the anterior lobe, and this whole region is the posterior lobe, whatever is left out. Alright, so it is called as posterior lobe as well as middle lobe. Both are the names given to it. Alright, and then you have the posterolateral circle fissure, which separates the floccular nodular lobe from the posterior lobe, or you could say the middle lobe from the floccular nodular lobe, and this is on the inferior surface, whereas the horizontal surface will separate this superior surface from an inferior surface. And this whole relations of what surface is superior, how it is inferior, all that will be only clear once you hold a cerebellum, a dissected cerebellum, in the dissection hall. Until then it will be the most confusing thing in the world, and then it will just get super easy for you. So that is the anatomical division, which divides the cerebellum into its parts: three fissures, horizontal, primary, posterolateral. That is done. Now we come to the next thing, that is the phylogenetical divisions, or you could say morphological divisions. But as we know, morphological divisions are now based on the phylogeny, right? So phylogenetical divisions, we have three, right? Archicerebellum, paleocerebellum, and neocerebellum. So archicerebellum is the oldest, neocerebellum is the newest, whereas the paleocerebellum is in the between. So archicerebellum is phylogenetically the oldest part of the cerebellum to appear in the evolution. That is, it was there in the aquatic vertebrates also. The neocerebellum is the newest part of the cerebellum to develop, made up of the. Now we'll see what they're made up of. Paleocerebellum is the next part of the cerebellum that appears after the archicerebellum, that is in the terrestrial vertebrates, which have limbs. So we'll see that what parts are which divisions of cerebellum. So archicerebellum is the floccular nodular lobe. That means it consists the nodule and the flocculus, or plural floccule. So that is the archicerebellum. Next, coming to paleocerebellum, that is the anterior lobe and a part of the posterior lobe of the cerebellum, which we can see in this picture from the reddish orange lines here. So this, that is, your lingula is there, central lobule is there, your ala are there. That is included in paleocerebellum. Apart from that, your pyramid, your uvula, and your tonsils are also included. Now this tonsil, because it's just close to the flocculus, it's also called as the parafloccule. So the anterior, this is the whole anterior part, right? Because the primary fissure comes here. So the whole anterior lobe plus some part of the posterior lobe, this is the pyramid, uvula, and the tonsils, are also part of the paleocerebellum. Now coming to neocerebellum. Neocerebellum is the leftover parts of the posterior lobe, that is the culmen, declive, folium, the simplex lobule, the superior semilunar and inferior semilunar lobule, the biventral lobule, and the tuber also. So in the AKGN textbook, all these regions that are surrounding the vermis in the posterior lobe, that are part of the neocerebellum, these are called as the lateral anciform and paramedian lobules. That is, this quadrangular lobule, simplex lobule, the superior and inferior semilunar lobules, and the biventral lobules all together can be termed as the lateral anciform and paramedian lobules. So lateral anciform and paramedian lobules plus your uvula plus your pyramid plus tuber. So lateral anciform and paramedian lobules plus tuber plus folium declive. These form your neocerebellum, right? That is your phylogenetical division. Now last is the functional division. So functional division is basically the same as morphological division, but we have a separate name for it because we are naming it based on its function. So archicerebellum is also known as vestibular cerebellum because of its connections with the vestibular system. Paleocerebellum is named as spinal cerebellum because it receives connections from the spinal cord. And neocerebellum is termed as pontocerebellum because of its connection with the midbrain, or you can say pons, right? So because it is related to the pons, or you can say the midbrain, it basically is related to voluntary and skilled movements, but the function part of it will be more discussed in the physiology part of it. So this is just the anatomy. So those are the three types of divisions we can do of the cerebellum. And just wanted to clarify all the three types of divisions that could be done of the cerebellum, right? This lateral anciform and paramedial lobule and everything. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching.